It is Saturday night once again. I'm trying to do two things here at one time, so forgive me. This is the Overnight Mouse Party. I am Dean Foss, and so far we've got Guns and Barbecue. How you doing, Barbecue?
Doing all right. Better Midland. All those other things the former guests usually say. I say former because they don't seem to show up anymore. I don't know what Gary normally says. He doesn't normally seem to have like a catchphrase he likes to say, but he seems to be absent today as well. I was thinking maybe we could play a game like Where is Gary? Kind of like Where is Waldo? I don't think it's going to work out too well though. But anyways, I'm rambling too much. How are you?
I'm doing all right. And I saw, well, that was 5 hours ago. G-Web said he doesn't have access to Discord. So I just sent out a link. If he's awake, hopefully he'll see it.
Interesting.
But yeah. And Gizzard's out of town
Yep.
visiting his family. And Wood wants to know, did anyone look in the chicken coop? No, the coop is empty.
Been empty for a little while.
And I did pin a link for this week's chat, or not this week's chat, this week's poll at the top of the chat. If you have not voted in there, head over there, give it a vote. And oh, that reminds me, I'll get the banner going. At the bottom of the screen is an email address on tacticalfoss@gmail.com. There's G-Webs. There, I stayed awake. You're muted. Is you there? Uh-oh. Well, I'm not hearing you. You're still muted. I saw you unmute, but I didn't hear you.
I do not hear him either.
So hopefully we'll get this worked out here in a bit. But so let me get over it. There we go. So far, G-Webs was out there, and he's in here. And DJ Play Nice. Vulcan Rumble is here. Mr. Bob Davalina. Two Live Moo. Woods is out there. And is that everybody that said something so far? I think so. Oh. And G-Web says he feels like he's here. But I didn't hear you, not hearing you say anything. So. But, one of the things going around in the Gunniverse, what's his name? Sean Ryan, his podcast. He's an ex. I'm not sure what branch he was in. If he was Special Forces, I think maybe. But interviewed Gavin Newsom. and gave him a SIG P365, and
Yes.
he's getting a lot of hate over that. I only watched the clip of him giving it to him. I happened to stumble across that, and I think it's a little unfair to him because he was given that by someone at SIG, and he says that in the clip that I saw, that he named some person from SIG, told me to get this into your hands. It's a California compliant 365. And so I think he's getting a lot of hate over giving him the gun. Well, he was given the gun to give to Newsom. So it's a little unfair, I think, to get upset with him over that. I didn't watch the interview, so I don't know how the rest of it went. So I can't say, because when he gives it to him, that's when Newsom says, "Well, I'm not anti-gun, blah blah blah, high capacity magazines, blah blah blah, weapons of war, garbage." So I don't think he challenged him on any of that, but like I said, I didn't watch the interview, so I don't know.
Well, that, and if I remember correctly, this would not be the first 365 that Sean Ryan has given away.
I couldn't tell you. I've only seen clips like when I'm doom scrolling, basically, on either Instagram or the YouTube shorts. Then I'll come across his stuff sometimes, but I've never actually watched an episode of his podcast. DJ saying that Sean Ryan was a SEAL.
That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure.
But the Trump administration, Trump told Pam Bondi, who there's a case that was in the lower courts, and they're not going to pursue it. Now I've forgotten what it was. But the overall reason I was going to kind of talk about it is it's good that the DOJ, Department of Justice, isn't going to pursue some of this stuff. So they're kind of reeling back some of the stuff that the Obama era brought in. But the only problem with that is it's basically as temporary as it was when Obama pushed to implement stuff. That without the legislation to back it, it's as soon as there's someone who wants to change that again in the future, they can start enforcing this or that.
Yep.
Which is the one problem with like the executive orders. That's only good until another president countermands that executive order. So it's good that it gives us at least temporary, or those affected get a temporary relief. Well, I think one of them had to do with the pistol braces, where they're not going to pursue pistol brace stuff anymore. So the lower court ruling stands, and I think the other one might have been with. Was that the one with the restoring rights? Something to do with restoring rights. I started kind of reading it a little bit just before the chat, and then fell into the Amnesty International article that we were talking about in the pre-chat.
I remember there's something about dealing with restoration of rights, but I don't remember offhand what that case was. There's so much going on right now; it's hard to keep track of everything.
Yeah, and then all the Epstein stuff that's come back up, releasing the files, and apparently Bondi is asking the courts to unseal the court files. So see what happens with that. The Saint is out there. There he is. So what's going on in here? We're kind of fumbling around. I'm waiting to see if G-Webs can make it back in. He was in here for a little bit, but I think we're having technical difficulties. But so what else is going on gun related? Is there any other stories going on right now?
Well, what the heck is Chicago 7th Circuit?
What's going on with that?
Recently they just ruled that illegal immigrants don't have Second Amendment rights. Four Boxes Diner did a big thing on it, where he is saying that they nailed it and all this, and he was very excited about it, which after hearing him talk about it, I was like, okay, I can understand the logic. Which essentially what is persons who don't have allegiance to the country don't have firearms rights, which still baffles me because, as I said, they have the rest of their rights because, like, we're still giving them due process. Which then, if you still give them due process, do they still have First Amendment rights? If they have First Amendment rights, do they still have the right to vote? We just say, oh, you just don't have Second Amendment rights. Like that one kind of conflicts me.
Well, the due process for dealing with the immigration, with illegal immigration, is a little bit different because Congress had set up a special court just for that.
Gotcha.
That they're supposed to go through, not the federal court, the normal federal courts. It's this separate entity. And part of the fight that's been going on is they're saying they don't get due process. Well, they do if they go through the courts they're supposed to go through, but they're trying to do it through the other federal courts.
I gotcha. So, But yeah, like I said, I understood after listening to the video the reasoning and everything. They use the examples that anti-gunners have been trying to use since the NYSERPA decision of, well, Catholics weren't allowed to own guns, and we didn't let Native Americans own guns, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And in this context, it was because, well, Catholics in England were, had an allegiance to the Pope that, was technically running a separate country with the Vatican. And going back to the founding and all that of our country, Native Americans were considered their own little tribe nations and blah, 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 blah. So I was like, all right, I get it with how they're justifying this. So,
Wood said self-protection is inalienable. G. Wood said he's having the technical problems that a lot of people seem to have with this EV-MUX. I don't think I'm going to keep it. Once my subscription is, I paid for a year, and I think once that year's up, I got to try and find another.
Is G-Web trying to join with a phone?
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot that I do like about this software, but there's just enough that it's kind of problematic that, I kind of talked about it before, where I think it's just they tried to branch out into streaming, which when you using this and seeing all the backroom parts and pieces, this was not designed for streaming. This was designed for corporate use, doing seminars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I managed to get, I thought was, I got a discount on it for doing a year, so I went ahead and did a year, and then it's good enough for now. Fuku YT Moten Stick is out there. Good evening, good evening. Did I say Sergeant Joe Smith is out there? I just did.
I don't know if you did, but you did now.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and look at this week's poll. So as I remember what I'm doing. There it is. So this week's poll was, have you ever been a victim of a scam? No, I am very cautious and question everything. Yes, an email or phone scam. Yes, paid for a product that I never received or was not as advertised. Or yes, I paid for a service that was never done or poorly done. 38% said no, I'm very cautious and question everything. 26% said yes, an email, a phone scam. 25% said yes, I paid for a product I never received. Or 10% said yes, I paid for a service that was never done or done poorly. Looking at the comments, Sergeant Joe Smith said yes, 1,500 employee scams that never did the work they advertised, plus other contractors supposed to pay me a commission of jobs I got them passing out their flyers while passing out mine. I'm owed over $1 billion right now and already sued some 60 people, never got paid. Michigan for conservative. Are we counting ex relationship partners? I've taken for a few years there. Boomstick said no, because I have a great anti scam system that guarantees you will never be scammed. I will enroll you in the service for a low introductory price of $4.95. All I need is your credit card number, social security number, and place of birth. Mr. Tangus asked, does college count?
I feel like it does.
Oh, I said I told him I'll allow it. Newark Outcast. I'm ashamed to admit I bought a Glock once. I was very upset when they released the new version of so-called perfection. You can't make perfection better, so obviously it was a scam. X Adam Watt said, yes, I currently pay taxes. Patriot in the Dark, unfortunately, paid for services unrendered. Second X was definitely a scam. I was kind of expecting to get some ex-girlfriends, ex-wives comments in here. Bonnie Treitler. My thing is, if it sounds too good to be true, it's usually a scam. Nobody's going to give anything for free. That's often true. Dave said A. What was A again? Oh, no, I'm very cautious. DJ Play Nice, yes. 3-card Monty, Cleveland bus station, 1987, was 16. Totally fell for it. Say goodbye to a hyper-expensive Iowa Walkman. Let me update this because I knew there was more comments that came in. Wood said bought a gun online that was trash and broken. And the goddamn Bacon said paid my property taxes yesterday. Road should be fixed any day now.
Good for him.
Yes. I think the only time I got, I would say, scammed, I was a kid. The back of a magazine were some Kung Fu shoes, and I wanted the Kung Fu shoes, and I never got the Kung Fu shoes after I paid for them. How about you?
Reese, well, I think about 2 years ago, I let myself be the target of a scam, but it was very calculated on my part. I was on eBay, and there's a camera that I've been wanting for quite some time, and I had seen it, and I was like, that seems way too cheap to be true. Either they made error in the buy it now price, or I'm going to get this and it's going to be broke, or they're going to take my money and run. At which point, I'm paying with PayPal, and it's on eBay anyway, so I've got the PayPal coverage where I'll get my money back. Plus, there's the eBay buyer protection. I'll get my money back. So I was like, I'm going to hit the buy it now button and see what the hell happens. They took the money and ran. But I got my money back, so it was worth the gamble.
I did have that happen on, I think it was eBay. And basically, I paid with PayPal, and I had to be under $50. I don't remember. I can't even remember what it was. But when I contacted PayPal, they said, well, there's no money in their account. We can't help you. Sorry.
Oh, really?
Yep. But like I said, it was kind of wasn't a lot of money, so I wasn't happy about paying for something I didn't get, but I was still going to make rent, so I wasn't too worried about it.
Yeah, now I don't even think I had to really worry about it with PayPal. Just did everything right through eBay because of the eBay buyer protection thing that they have now. Because waited like a week, and there was nothing. So I started messaging the guy and was getting no reply. So then I opened up a claim with eBay and explained what was going on. And they're like, well, you got to wait this amount of time. I'm like, it's already been for a week. Okay. So I had to wait like another week to appease eBay. And when that guy still didn't reply in that week, then eBay then did their thing on their end. And when he stiffed them, essentially, they're like, oh yeah, this guy's a jerkwad. Here's your money back.
Two Live Moose had family trip and went through the drive-through. Next day had 10 $150 transactions for t-shirt shop in North Carolina. I wasn't really including the like credit card fraud, stuff like that. I've had that a few times where I've had to get new cards because of that.
That one just happened to me.
It's an absolute pain in the ass.
It happened with StreamYard.
Really?
Yeah. Not this past Friday, but the Friday before, I woke up to a message from Fraud Alert saying, was this transaction you? It was like either $827 or $872. I'm assuming for a year's worth of StreamYard. And I was like, nope. But the weird thing was, like a week before this, StreamYard was like, upgrade for free or all that. And nowhere did it have me put in my card information. Nowhere did it have me anything like that. Additionally, it didn't say anything about, hey, in X amount of time, we're going to charge you if you don't cancel. Nor did it say that what the rates were for a year or anything like that. So I was like, all right, they're just trying to upsell, hey, check this out, try it out for a little bit, and, try and get people to, upgrade. So I was like, all right, I'll mess with it just for shits and giggles. And then, like I said, it was like a week later, I have this fraud alert thing pop up. But the thing is, since I stopped doing live streams with StreamYard, I've had like 2 or 3 new bank cards because my chip at my bank, or the bank cards I keep getting from my bank, the chips keep going bad. So technically, I've had like 3 new bank card numbers. So I would have had to put in a new bank card for it to just, been like, oh, hey, we'll just use the card that was on your account before.
Boom6 said Visa called me once asking if I bought $450 worth of flowers in New York City. Yeah, kind of just a couple of weeks ago now, I meant to talk about this before, and I kept kind of forgetting. Let me get rid of that, and I'll share this. Scrolling through Instagram, I came across Palmetto State Armory having a warehouse sale, and it was this picture. And this is the Winchester White Box 5.56 or 2.23, whatever. But then I got looking at the picture a little closer, and I realized it's an AI generated picture. other than where it says Palmetto State in the logo, all the rest is gibberish. It's that what AI usually does when it's pretending to put words. And even on the boxes, it's all the gibberish. This is an AI generated picture. And so I was wondering, why would Palmetto State use an AI generated picture when they have this stuff they could just take a picture of? Well, I clicked on the shop now to see what was going on. And, it's got the Palmetto State logo. But if you let me look at the website, it says palmettostate.com. That's not Palmetto State's website. Palmetto State Armory uses palmettostatearmory.com. So this is all fake. And there's a lot of this on the internet, fake gun shops. When I was looking for reloading stuff, like half the websites I was finding were fake websites, because it would be, the payment system would be like WhatsApp. Well, no legitimate place is going to ask, WhatsApp, or, I don't know all the other kind of shifty ways that they ask for payments, but it's it's not Visa or PayPal. It'll be all these alternative, untraceable or really, really hard to trace ways to get payments. And I did report this to Instagram. So hopefully they took them down. I don't know. But it had, when I was just kind of casually strolling, it had their logo. It looked like them, and then it was just, like I said, I just kind of realized that the picture was AI generated, because that's the stuff that I see when I'm trying to generate pictures and stuff. So when you're out there shopping, just be careful.
That's one thing I've kind of wondered about, is why big name businesses, retailers, things like that, don't go and buy up domains and just have them redirect to their actual website. That way it makes it harder for scammers to try and defraud people. Because somebody sees something for, like you were just describing, and sees palmettostate.com, there's people that just wouldn't think twice about that. They're like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. Then they put in their information, and then, their bank account's cleaned. And how hard would it be for PSA to go and register PSA.com and palmettostate.com and, the .orgs, all that? And at the end of the day, like, really, how much more is it going to cost them? But at the same time, maybe I'm a halfwit that doesn't know what Palmetto State's actual website is, and I'm not using Google. I'm just like, oh, it's PSA.com, but meanwhile maybe it's palmettostatearmory.com, and you have to spell out the whole thing. But I want to put in PSA.com, so I put in PSA.com. Then boom, it just auto directs me straight to their actual website. Then.
Venice Skitties out there, good evening. Yeah, with the like I said, with the reloading stuff, I was looking for specific powders that are out of stock everywhere, and I was finding all these websites where they had it in stock for, like 30% less than everybody else would have it normally. That's a pretty good indicator that it's probably fake.
Yep.
Boomstick said I get so many calls from Indian scammers. I've learned to cuss in Hindi. I basically don't answer my phone. If I don't know who you are, I'm not going to answer the phone. Normally, now and again I will. If, gut feeling says answer it. And so I'll hear like got one the other day, which I answered it because I thought it could be something else that I was kind of waiting on, but I didn't say anything. The person on the line didn't say anything, but yeah, I could hear the chatter in the background from the call center. It was all in Hindi. So I don't know what they want, what they wanted. It didn't matter. M. Gabriel's out there. Good evening. Yeah, I got in for a while. I got into watching the like Scam Buster and something Brown. The guys that will call up the scam centers and pretend like they're falling for the scam and then hack the computers, the scammers' computers and stuff. Yeah. But nothing really comes of it because it's, a lot of it, the stuff in India that authorities in India don't really care. They're probably getting paid not to care. Every now and again they'll do a big profile bust with take all these pictures and stuff, and then the guys are basically let loose. So the goddamn bacon said, for the record, I will never ask for Amazon or Google Play gift cards for a super chat. That's the other thing where it's the people that fall for the scams, this is deputy so and so, you need to pay this fine or we're going to come arrest you, pay in Apple gift cards or Bitcoin. And the people that fall for it, it's really hard to stop them mid scam because they will get upset that you're trying to stop them from paying this fraudulent fee. It kind of happened at work. I wasn't there. Luckily, the bookkeeper came in the middle of it, and the guy that was there that took the phone call got upset that she was stopping him because she's like, hey, this isn't right. There's no reason to be doing this. This is not, you shouldn't even be dealing with the stuff that you're trying to deal with. And he got upset with her for stopping him. And luckily did stop him from, the company getting scammed. Just so everybody knows, a government agency will never ask for gift cards for payment for anything. And they won't text you about anything. So basically, you'll get a letter if the government wants money from you. Wood said during COVID, Washington got scammed for $6 billion to somewhere in Africa.
So epic.
Mr. Bob said my 82-year-old mother got a call from some idiot pretending to be the IRS to collect $1,200 or they would come arrest her. She said, okay, come arrest me, and hung up. Yeah, and with AI now, there's like the kidnapping scams where if there's enough of your voice out there, they can simulate your voice to get a ransom for you, or they'll say it's your kid, and they'll be able to play a voice that sounds like whoever it is they're saying was kidnapped. I told my wife, if you ever get a call asking for a ransom because I've been kidnapped, do not pay it. And if it happens to be real, we had a good run. Just move on with your life. Carolina ADC Reviews is out there. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're feeling better. Boom6 said one of my employees went to the bank and see his 80-year-old grandmother there getting out money for a scam. He told her it was a scam, and she didn't want to believe him. He said he's doing good. That's good to hear. A guy in the comments said a ransom is not a guarantee of life. Oh, what else we want to talk about? We can't do a bracket. There's only two of us. Who said I got scammed once? We've been married for 33 years. Yeah, but you have to ask who got the losing side of that deal, Moo. The goddamn bacon said my family knows me well. Any ransom call with me involved is just going to go like an episode of Dragon Ball Z where two goons tried to kidnap Goku. So barbecue, what else are we going to talk
about? Well, I got to stop in at Tamarack Armory today. Poke my head around in there a little bit. Really only went in looking for Marlin 3030 for my daughter. But kind of being particular, I don't want a new Ruger Marlin because, well, those are expensive. I don't want a Remington model because those had issues. I want a original Marlin. And so just, poke my head in, see if I had anything. And while I was going around in its own display case, display box, however you want to term it, was a 1911 with a piece of paper inside that display box stating that this 1911 comes with three magazines. What else? All the original paperwork, the original box, including the display case that it's in. Said it original price is $4,000. Right now it's about a K less or so. I was like, and it really piqued my interest because the name on it is Les Bear.
Oh.
Yeah, and I was like, wonder how many guns I'd have to get rid of to get that.
Yeah, that's way out of my price range. And I've thought about shifting some guns. Maybe get rid of some to get something else that I might want. But I'm really bad at letting stuff go.
Same.
I always have been. Every now and again, I will sell something, and then I'll look back at it and be surprised that I did it. Justin Grimm is out there. Let me go back.
Good evening.
He had said basically, oh, there you go. I'm never getting kidnapped. I'll just sit on the ground. He's kind of a big fella. And Baron SVG is out there. He said cost the same as 3 M1 rifles. You're less bear.
Yes. Yeah, I sent him a photo today. I was like, so, seeing this.
Guy in the comments of being held hostage, probably cheaper than living in New York City. Free basement, no utilities. And Moo is shocked. Baron is alive. He is alive. And kicking.
And say, I was thinking, I was like, if I sell my Dan Wesson Specialist, that'd get me about halfway there.
We're talking about the Marlins. I had almost bought a Marlin. I wanted the 44 Magnum Marlin.
Yeah.
And I think I ended up, can't remember, because usually it'll be, we'll research something, figure out what I want, get all ready, and then buy something different. And it might have been I bought those 2 SIG FCUs instead. It's kind of killed that. I still don't, I need a lever gun. But they're in that price range where it's more than I want to spend on guns, because it'll be $1,200 or more, depending on what you get, how nice you want to get.
Yeah, for the new Ruger Marlin, Tamarack had a 44 mag in the store today, and I was like, ooh. I was like, nope. As soon as I saw the price tag, I was like, mm-mm.
It's like the Smith & Wessons with the Woodstock. Those lever guns, I think those are gorgeous, but way overpriced, in my opinion.
He had in one of those.
And because I don't want a Rossi. I would like a Marlin, Baron was telling me, God, I forget. It's one of the Winchester copies that he said they're really smooth, but they're still kind of pricey.
Mossberg? Probably not the Mossberg. I say, I've handled the Mossberg. I mean, it's not bad, but I wouldn't call it smooth.
No, it was. Now I can't think of it. Well, it would be like Uberti, kind of one of those companies. I don't remember which one it was. Guy in the comments bought a Rossi at Ross on clearance section.
Nice.
Justin Graham got a Marlin 336 3030 before COVID, about 15 rounds through it.
Nice. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for, is an original 336, actually.
Barrett said 1866 Yellow Boy made by Cimarron.
Ooh.
Woods loves his 92 Rossi. His Rossi 92 and 357. I'm not saying they're bad guns. To me, they're just ugly. I don't like the way they look.
You know, I just thought of something. We got Baron out there. I feel like Baron has access to the Discord. I feel like Baron is like the IT for Discord. I feel like Baron could jump in here and save the bracket.
He could. I don't know if he will or not. I don't. He's probably not allowed to.
Ooh, yeah.
He's got to ask permission if he can come and play.
I don't know.
Two Live Moose said Foss needs to limp wrist my 2.5-inch 44 Magnum for his next limp wrist video. I have only did semi-autos because that's the only revolvers are not going to be affected by limp wristing, and for the most part, semi-autos are not affected by limp wristing.
We need to get a Desert Eagle for you to limp wrist.
That's God. I've looked at those so many times. I was looking at it. This was a while back. I was looking at them. My wife happened to be walking by. She looked at the computer screen. She goes, "No." I put up a short. I was at the range, and there was a guy that had a 44 Magnum Desert Eagle. He was shooting, and I was doing a take the friend of the range, and he goes, "Hey, you want to shoot this?" So I told the guy that was me, go ahead and shoot it. I've shot him. I haven't shot the 40. I shot a 357 one, but I've shot a Desert Eagle before, so I thought it'd probably be fun for him. And then I ended up shooting one shot through it, and the 44 Magnum, it was amazingly soft. It was really, really want one, but again, the $2,000 price tag is a little too much for me.
Yeah. Let's say with the recent developments for me, it kind of just makes you go, because every time where I'm like, oh, I'll get these couple things paid down, like I plan to, then I'll save up the money, get the Desert Eagle like I've been wanting to do for, so long or whatnot. And now I'm like, oh, I get to choose between hearing aids or Desert Eagle. I'm like, God dang it. The sad thing is, they're the same friggin' price.
Justin Grip said was saving for a Marlin 4570 before COVID. Then the prices doubled, and I'll never own one now.
Oof.
That's one that I would love to have because I like, the big recoil. But I was looking at the 44 just because I have a 44 handgun to go with it. A guy that comments said Fallout got me hyped for 4570 anything.
I have an idea. Mrs. Barron SVG, can Barron come out and play?
Well, he said a little bit earlier it's his bedtime.
Oh. Well, I don't pay attention to text chat, so.
I missed the comment, but I happened to go back up looking for something and then saw it. Oh, I did order a gun cabinet. It's a quote safe, but it's it's a gun cabinet. A slightly larger one. It's because I've got a small one and a slightly less small one, and the small one was perfect for when I started out, but pretty much everything's in the slightly less small one, and I have to kind of push the door with my foot to get it closed. So I need a little extra room.
It's not a bad thing.
Well, I wouldn't say it's good or bad. It's just a thing.
Yes.
And my wife's out of town, so I thought I'd kind of get all that squared away because she won't notice. She's not, on the whole, she's not real observant. I put it one time. She went up to Seattle. It's about an hour drive there and an hour drive back. But she went up to the Asian market that's up there. And while she's gone, I put a wall safe in the hallway closet, kind of by the front door. And God, it was almost a year where one day she goes, "Has there always been a safe here?"
Yes. At least for the last year.
Justin Grimm's telling you to wear electronic hearing protection as hearing aids. Save a bunch of money.
I would like to, but there's a couple features to the hearing aids that Electronic Ear Pro won't provide me. I had that thought, and it's not so much about the overall volume level, because with my left ear, I can still hear pretty well as far as volume level goes, but once there's multiple noises, everything's just a gargled mess, and I get nothing. And somehow the hearing aids are actually supposed to help me decipher all that, and I can actually pick things out again.
High school, I had a friend who he had a little bit of hearing problems. He didn't have hearing aids, but he had some diminished hearing. So sometimes when I'd be talking to him, I'd just kind of get a little quieter until he noticed that I was getting quieter. And then he'd go, "What?" Then he'd realize what I did and get pissed. Mr. Bob said you can connect hearing aids to anything Bluetooth enabled.
Yep.
Boomstick wants to know, why is it gun safes only hold half the guns as advertised?
Well, they will hold the amount of guns advertised if they are single shot shotguns with no scopes or anything.
Baron did. He gave me a great suggestion when I was starting to run out of room, is to alternate barrels up and down, and that did allow me to get a little more in the safe by either pointing, kind of alternating between barrel up and barrel down.
Never thought about that, but it does make sense, kind of like shoebox.
Yeah, Boom said just get one of those old timey hearing horns people used to use.
Honestly, it would be kind of cool to just go around with. With like a Civil War general.
Justin Gribb said they work if all Daisy BB guns.
Huh? Oh, the gun safes.
Yeah. Yeah, the small one I have was fine when I was first started, bought my first guns because it basically was set up to hold 3 rifles. And then in between the rifles, it had hooks so you could put your handguns. And when you're starting out and only plan to have 3, 2 handguns and a rifle, that's perfect. But it's kind of not working anymore. But that'll allow me. I know somebody that can use it, so I told him he can have it when I replace it. I ordered a replacement. Should have it Monday or Tuesday, I think.
And you found out they're like gremlins. They just keep multiplying.
Well, God, I swear it is that because I will go through and count what I have. And every now and again there'll be more than the number it should have been. And I don't know how that happens. Boomsticks, 6 safes and need another. Yeah, if our house was set up a little different, then I would probably look into one of the big, the big Canon safes or whatever. But that wouldn't really work. When we moved in, there was one in the laundry room. But where that safe was, now I have a freezer and a small fridge. What's it? Wait, you can have more than one safe?
I'm trying to figure out what I want to do for a safe.
I don't know. We went through that. It was a couple of years. God damn. We've been doing this for a while. We went through with Baron and we looked at safes and kind of what they call safes or gun cabinets, and a lot of the lower price stuff they're not actual safes.
Yeah.
And even with the safes, how easy it is to get into a safe, to cut into it. I have all the tools over there you need to get into my safes. With gun cabinets.
Well, that's why I'm like these big expensive ones. I'm not. So like, why do I want to go and reinforce my floor for something that has the same level of protection as the flimsy green stack-on cabinet? except the green stack-on cabinet doesn't have a vault door.
There's lots of videos on the YouTubes showing how quickly you can cut into an actual gun safe.
Mm-hmm.
And then also that basically all of the fire, if they say they're fire rated or whatever, it doesn't matter. Whatever's in there is gonna get cooked.
Once the fire reaches it, it's done.
Yeah, because that metal casing is going to heat up and continue to radiate heat.
Not only, but with the way they test them, it's not like because people hear, oh, it's fire rated up to 1200 degrees for an hour, because like that's the newest thing I've seen is like 1200 degrees for an hour or some crap. I'm like, but you've got to look at how they test it. It's, they start off way down here where they just turn on the oven, and it takes forever to finally creep up to that 1200 degrees. So in an hour it hits 1200 degrees, but look at where it was at 45 minutes and where it was at 50 and at 55. Like, it's not actually fire rated for that.
Roy E. Munson is out there. He was asking about fire resistance. Boomstick said the big ones are tough to move. I use pipe rollers. That's what the guy I work with, he's looking to upgrade his. And he's got a Canon 48 gun safe that he offered me, for like half the retail price. But I don't think it'll work for me now. So I went a little different way. And Justin Grimm said he has a 60s Pepsi machine for an ammo safe.
Nice.
Those are cool, and I've seen like there's a dude that made a gun safe out of one. My big fear is them just wanting to steal the soda machine itself and then ended up stealing everything that's inside of it. Wood said I use a job box, not ideal, but it works.
It would work.
My main concern is just to keep the kids out of it. And all the safe is going to do is buy time. If somebody has access to it within 20 minutes, you can cut it open with a circular saw or a Sawzall. The circular saw with a diamond blade will cut open the side of a gun safe.
That's kind of my dilemma is, well, I really don't want to get any of the big heavy safes because, like you just said, given enough time, anybody could be in it. And honestly, I think you're being generous with 20 minutes. I've seen a lot of videos where people are in less than 10 and they're just using a cutoff wheel and an angle grinder. I've seen a couple of videos where people are using torches. I'm like, why? Like, you just need an angle grinder. But my other thing is, biggest fear is fire. And I do have a basement, and there's the theory, if you have a basement, put the guns in the basement. Except the basement's not like the driest place. So, you got to worry about moisture and humidity and rust, obviously. And I'm just like, ugh. So it's damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Oh, the one kind of one of the really nice things about those big, really expensive safes is it's a large space, makes it easy to organize what you put in there.
Yeah. That's the other thing too. Those stack-on cabinets have gotten so expensive.
Yeah, I was looking at those.
I was like, you got to be kidding me.
'Cause that's what my smaller one, my even smaller one, is a stack on that I bought from Cabela's, and I mean, it was light enough I could put it in a shopping cart.
Yeah.
So it's not. It would qualify as a um, cabinet. I forget. I can't think of them because there's safe, and then there's forget what the term for the step down from a safe is. It looks like a safe, but it's not a safe. Justin Grimm said security needs to be layered with cameras. The safe is the last resort to buy time for the cops to come. And depending on where you live, that can be a lot of time, or who knows if they'll come. I had my son set off our security alarm, um, and the company had called me, but I missed the call, and they called the cops. And then I saw the call when I got home. I was heading home from wherever, and I called the company. Said, "Oh, hey, my son set off the alarm," but the cops never came. So a lot of departments kind of think that will think that well most home alarms that go off are false alarms, and there's even departments that will fine you after so many false alarms. But yeah, it was. I had was kind of watching for the cops so I could tell them, hey, this is what happened. But um, I don't remember how long it was because it's probably only 5. I guess it wasn't very long before because when my son left, I passed him and I saw him, and then, so it was probably within 5 minutes that I called the company back and said, hey, it's a false alarm and blah blah blah. And they said, well, we'll call the cops for you and let them know. But Boomstick said, I just use an old refrigerator with a padlock. Wood said, I live in Tacoma. The cops are not coming. They're just not.
Yeah. There's an average of about 20 to 25-minute response time out to me if they actually come, depending on what the call is.
Well, that's why they say when seconds count, the cops are minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. Oh well, I think we're out of stuff to talk about.
It might be.
Yeah, with my wife and kids out of town, it throws my schedule off. Even though I'm on vacation, I took a week off, I took a couple weeks off just so I could get stuff done around the house while they're out of town because it's a little easier. Like I have to redo a backsplash, and I defrosted the freezer. I don't have one of the fancy self-defrosting ones. So pretty much, I usually do it in the spring. But once a year, I'll defrost the freezer. And
Nice.
some other little things around the house. But there's a lot of stuff that, with work and then with the kids, that I have to maintain a schedule with all that. But with them gone and being on vacation, I don't have a schedule. So it's kind of like if you tighten the spring really tight and then let it go, that sudden release of energy breaks it, throws everything off. Usually what happens is now everything's kind of askew. But yeah, so you got anything coming up, barbecue?
Nothing.
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 You got nothing. Yeah. Well, the Mel Gibson bracket that I had talked about doing, I said we were going to do. I wasn't going to do today because there's a couple Mel Gibson movies I think I need to watch because they need to be on the list, but I haven't seen them. And so that's usually part of the criteria for the brackets is, that I'm familiar with whatever it is we're talking about. So I want to watch a few more Mel Gibson movies. He's done a lot of movies, a lot more than I realized. There's a whole bunch. When I looked up his IMDb, there's like a dozen from the last 2 years that he's been in.
Wow.
And I've never heard of any of them. Those aren't the ones I want to watch, but so once I've watched enough of the Mel Gibson movies, I started compiling the list and then realized that there's some that I need to watch. So the Christopher Walken bracket, I'm not sure about that one because there's a lot of roles. I don't know if everybody's going to know the parts. So that might be a difficult one.
I wasn't sure if it would be or not.
But the one I have ready that we didn't do because we didn't have enough people, but it was basically female actresses, chick fight. Who would win in a fight between the 16 contenders? So whenever we have enough people, then we'll do that one.
And remember, folks, if you made it this far in the chat, you could just jump in the Discords, come on the show, and make the brackets happen next time.
Roy said Christopher Walken will take literally any acting job. He's been in a lot of crap. And Roy said Sarah Connor would win. Well, it's not sure how we would define the bracket. It's female. Some of them are not. Some of them have been in a lot of action flicks. Some have done a few action movies. The fence dad is out there. He said, "What? No bracket? I'm going back to bed." So I'm not sure if it would be who would win in real life, or because I picked out the actresses, not the characters in the movies. So I don't know. We can hammer that out at some point. And I left Gina Carano off that list specifically because she's an ex-MMA fighter. She would probably kick all of their asses, at least half of them at the same time. And Defense Dad said, Christopher Walken, great. Now I'm going back to bed, going back to sleep without more cowbell. More cowbell. So, next channel will be next Saturday. And hopefully we'll have Gary back and G-Webs. It's always better with more people, I think. So,
Like everything in life. That's what she said.
Other than that, hope everybody has a good rest of the night. Go do something good.